Can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat, Sleep, Boxing, Repeat.
Hello and welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel, proudly in association with sharpbetting.co.uk. I'm joined here by my esteemed colleague, Elliot Grigg. We're in final predictions mode. It's Harlem Eubank against Tyrone McKenna. As of recording, that fight is tomorrow evening. Elliot, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Guys, as always, please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts on who you think is going to win this fight down below in the comments. Elliot Grigg, we're going straight into it. Harlem Eubank, Tyrone McKenna, who wins and how?
Oh, you know what? This is tough one again this week on the Fun Predictions because we're looking at. I mean, Paul and I did the preview on this one, and I've seen Harlem Eubank fight a couple of times, and both of those times I've not been in any way impressed. So frankly, I'm not looking to be impressed by him. The question for me is, how much has Tyrone McKenna got? And Tyrone McKenna is not a fighter that's necessarily impressed me, but equally he's impressed me more than Harlem Eubank has when I fought him. So the question really for me is, does he have enough, Tyrone McKenna, to fight and beat Harlem Eubank in Brighton, where obviously the Eubanks have maintained quite a presence? And I actually think he does. I've got a speaking suspicion that Tyrone McKenna might win this. I don't know why. I just feel like I feel like the fight's going points regardless. You know, the fight for me is going points. It's a 12-round fight. But, you know, McKenna's got, 7 stoppages. I think Eubank's got something like 8 out of his total 20 fights. So for me, it's going the distance. I just got a sneaky suspicion that Tyrone McKenna, with the opposition that he's been in with, being superior to opposition that Harlem Eubank's been in with, that he might actually have enough to get this done.
I completely agree with yourself, Elliot. I think although he's lost, I think it's 4 fights now, Tyrone McKenna. You look at the fighters like the likes of Lewis Crocker, beat him, and we've seen Lewis Crocker controversially beats Paddy Donovan, but he's going to be fighting for a world title next, it appears. So he's been in with better opposition. He's fought at a higher level. I think the Mimune, apologies if I butchered his surname, I think that knockout shocked everyone, shocked Tyrone McKenna himself. So not going to read into that too much. So I think I will agree with yourself on a Tyrone McKenna points victory. Surprisingly, the next question, considering we've both picked Tyrone McKenna to win this fight, do you see this as last chance saloon for Tyrone McKenna? You know, he's fought at a higher level. He's clearly good. Harlem Eubank hasn't fought anyone of note. Should Harlem Eubank get the victory, is that it for Tyrone McKenna?
Oh, that's a proper McKenzie conundrum. That, and I think, I do think he's 35 now. When he won those sort of lower weights, that's quite old actually to be down at those weights essentially. Unless you want to kind of sort of move up a bit as well, I suppose. So I think it's his last chance if he wants to have a kind of big fight down there. Frankly, I think losing to Harlem Eubank, who, like you said, has got obviously the name, but you look at the guys he's been in with, and he hasn't really got any. He's got no one really that you sit there and look at and go, fantastic, that's a really, really good victory, and like you can springboard him to the highest level. So I think it would be, if he loses kind of quite poorly, I think you've got to look at it and go, maybe that should be the end for him at a certain level. I do think he's one of those fighters though that will just carry on. I think he likes boxing as well, likes fighting. So I fully expect him to probably carry on and maybe, you know, fight kind of on the sort of Irish scene as well, especially have some of those sort of fights be a bit of a gatekeeper. But yeah, I do think at 35, if he loses badly here, you've got to be thinking that is the end of him at that level, even though he probably will carry on for a few more.
I think you're spot on there. I don't think we'll see him operate at a decent level again. I think he will be a gatekeeper to sort of, you know, British level-ish, around that mark, you know, put him in with prospects. But like you say, down at those weights, you know, he's quite big at the weight as it is. He probably has to cut a fair amount. It's at 35, you know, pushing on to 36. Those questions have to be asked. I said we both think he's going to win, so I think he'll carry on. But you do have to ask, and I'm sure he'll be asking those questions of himself in the dressing room should he lose. Harlem Eubank, it's always a tough question, Elliot Grigg, with what's next for Harlem Eubank. He holds the Eubank name. Obviously, Chris Eubank Jr. is in arguably the biggest British fight of all time at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in April. Harlem Eubank hasn't fought anyone of note. Do you think we could see him fight Adam Azim? They faced off It's looking like a bit of a shambles from both promotional teams. The fact they had him in the ring facing off and then nothing's happening. I don't think anyone knows what's really going on with Adam Azim. He's running from Dalton Smith. Why hasn't he fought Harlem Eubank? You know, there's multiple questions, but do you think that's a fight we could see?
Like you say, judging from the drama sort of outside the ring, possibly. I think, to be honest with you, though, I look at that fight and I think if you're Harlem Eubank, you take that fight. I think you lose it. Frankly, I think I think quite handedly. I think Adam Azim handles him handsomely. So especially at this stage of the career, you look at Adam Azim's last time out against Lipinets. You look at, like we said, Eubank's already fought anyone. I can just see those sort of spearing hand speed of Adam Azim catching Harlem Eubank. Frankly, for me, I think Harlem Eubank, he's ranked surprisingly highly when you look at the kind of like British welterweights. You've got like obviously other names like Crocker on there, McKinson, Connor Walker. And to be honest with you, I'd actually have him losing against all those guys. But if you're someone like sort of Crocker, and you think, okay, maybe the Donovan fight, I mean, we might move up. We don't know what's going to happen, obviously, with those weights. But you look at that as a kind of easy comeback fight for me. So you could fight even someone like that. But I think if the Adam Azim fight happens, I mean, I'd be surprised. In a way, I'd see it as actually as a backward step for Adam Azim. I think it may be like a sort of tick over fight for him. I really think he'd win that handsomely. For me, it just seems like, yeah, you get a Eubank on your record, but it's a kind of low risk because, like I say, he's not a big puncher, hasn't got the hand speed of Adam Azim or the movement or the talent. So yeah, I mean, if he wants it, he can get it, type of thing.
Yeah, I completely agree with yourself. I like your point of the naming the British level fighters in there, like your Michael McKinsons, etc. Who Michael McKinson is a good boxer, but his name holds no weight, unfortunately. If you mention him to outside of hardcore boxing fans, there won't be a lot of people who is aware of who he is. So that makes it slightly difficult when you look at people like that who would arguably beat Harlem Eubank. I think the Adam Azim fight, he needs it regardless of win, lose, draw, just to have a better, higher level operator on his record. Has he got the famous Eubank chin? We haven't really seen him tested too much, but I do think, like you say, the lightning hand speed of Adam Azim, I think he'd catch him and get him out there nice and early. So I think win, lose or draw, it's a difficult situation for Harlem Eubank. He carries the Eubank name, but doesn't carry it in the same manner Chris Eubank Jr. does. So it's difficult. But listen, he's got a tough task in front of himself tomorrow night. He needs to focus on that before anything else. Tyrone McKenna isn't going to be coming down to Brighton to keel over. So we'll see what happens. Let us know down below in the comments, guys. Do you agree with us? Do you think Tyrone McKenna can upset the odds? Do you think Harlem Eubank will make light work of him? As always, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think. And once again, Elliot, thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you very much, Owen. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching.